Hey, BA fam. It's time for the BA Q&A. Hey, the BA Q&A. What you say? The BA Q&A with Mandi. The BA Q&A. The BA Q&A. Hey, BA fam. How are y'all doing? Can we just take a quick woo-saw? I really need a woo-saw. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's Thursday night. It's 10 o'clock. I just got back from the city. I wasn't planning to go into Manhattan. I live about 45 minutes. That's a damn lie. See, this is what happens when you leave New York and you try to kid yourself into thinking that you live closer than you do. Door-to-door commute to Grand Central is 40 minutes, but then I had to carry my booty all the way down to Brooklyn Bridge City Hall because my husband works for the government and he is one of millions of federal workers who were impacted by Lord Voldemort reincarnated and his executive orders. And for those of y'all, listen, I forgive you in advance if you've already forgot what half of the or even a fraction of what these executive orders that have come down. But my husband in particular, he was in the very final stage of getting an offer from a federal agency that would have not only been a great career opportunity for him, but it would have allowed him to work closer to home, to where we live. And right now he commutes an hour and a half minimum on bad train days. We're talking like 2 hours each way. And he is tired. This man has been doing this and he comes home. He does not, he's not trying to go to after office happy hours. He is trying to get home. He leaves early whenever he can. And he still feels like he's missing too much. And obviously, just y'all know, if your commute is anything like that, y'all know how just tiring and how it can wear you down. And we were both so excited for him to accept this new position. He got an email when he returned to work on Tuesday, like we all did. He got an email saying, "Your offer has been rescinded due to the recent executive order that mandated an immediate temporary hiring freeze across all federal agencies, except for, of course, your law enforcement, border control, the essential people that are going to come hunt down migrants and take them back to wherever they came from, I guess." So he's just a good person to his core, but he's also quiet and he's a Cancer. I'm a Leo, so you make up your own mind about how that works. He feels things deeply and he doesn't let things really get to him typically, and I could tell that this one really hurt. I mean, it was just the worst possible timing. And he had already told all of his work colleagues, and he and another young woman that he works with as well were applying to the same agency. They were each in the same stage, the final stage of hiring, like background check, like go pee in a cup kind of stuff. They were just waiting on their start date and they both got let down, and his colleagues offered to take them out for a drink and just have a good old pity party. And it's really, you feel kind of like powerless. I mean, there's just nothing I can do to make it better for him, but I got a sitter to watch the kids, and I went all the way down to Lower Manhattan to just be there for him and to share space with him and his colleagues. And it was really nice, actually. But I dropped everything to do that. And that includes doing my normal prep for the BAQA episode. So I'm here now, and I'm never sad to show up to the mic for y'all. Y'all know that. You know I love y'all, BA fam. I'm going to pick a couple of questions from the mailbag, and thank y'all to those who have been sending in your questions. It's never too late to submit questions to the show. You can hit us up at brownambitionpodcast@gmail.com. And I suggest that if you're writing a really long one, email is better. And then if you have a short question, hit us up on Instagram at Brown Ambition Podcast. I'm at Mandi Money, but the BA inbox is regularly monitored. Okay. I just want to acknowledge that there are human beings whose lives are being impacted in so many ways by the policies that are being put in place. So many frameworks, so many regulatory agencies that are here to look out for the people who don't have billions of dollars and private jets and a dick. The rest of us who are not, the top 0.001% of America, we kind of need someone looking out for us. And that's literally what these regulatory bodies and laws were created for, the Constitution itself. And to see it just being taken apart brick by brick, not even like brick by brick, more like just detonated, like demolished right before our eyes. It's shocking. I want to offer support and just, hold space for those who have been impacted. For those of y'all whose family members are keeping the curtains drawn and not opening the door to anyone that they're not 100% sure who it is, to people who are too afraid to now go to church or to school because they're afraid they're going to be scooped up in a van and forced to return to a country that they haven't called home for decades, for years, maybe even ever. That I'm with you. The Brown Ambition family is with you as well. To the LGBTQ plus community, my goodness, my brother-in-law who's a trans man, when you finally embrace the identity that you choose to have and the way that you feel and the really just getting to a place where you have this new chapter, you're starting this new journey and you feel more like yourself than you have for decades. And you watch this person embrace who they are and the excitement, the joy, the relief that they feel, and to know that now they're in a place where it was already unsafe for this community and now it's even less safe. And I link arms with the LGBTQ plus community, the queer community. I got y'all. We have to have each other's backs. We have to support, protect each other, look out for one another more than ever at this moment. All right. You know what? Speaking of woosahs, I'm going to take a little break and we'll be right back to take some of y'all's questions. Be right back, BA fam. All right, BA fam. Ooh, breathing is so healing. I don't know if the whole meditation movement made it to y'all during the pandemic like it did just about everybody else, but you don't have to do like a proper meditation. Just like putting your feet on the ground, putting your hand on your chest. Just breathing in, breathing out. It's so silly and so true. It just really helps ground you, helps me feel grounded and feel centered and be ready to pour into y'all. So let's go. Enough of that. I want to take a question from a listener who submitted this, I think on IG. Yes. So Jen reached out, said, "Hello, I love your podcast. I was just listening to one about how you were saying how expensive everything is. I didn't hear you mention overemployment. I know several people who have 2 to 4 full-time jobs working from home just to live. It's so sad, but it's also getting people out of debt and actually giving them money to save. Have you discussed this on the podcast? What do you think about this?" Jen. Okay, 2 to 4 full-time jobs. God, I mean, listen, this is one of those situations where you can't trust the data because not everybody is going to tell the truth about holding down 2 to 4 full-time jobs. Like, and by the way, Jen, I need to meet whoever you know that's working 4 full-time jobs somehow from home. Like, I can hardly imagine like how I could add one more thing to my plate. And I have 2 businesses that I'm running and being a mom and being a human. Like it seems impossible and really unhealthy. But to your point, overemployment and working multiple jobs just to get by is a systemic problem in the US. And surprise, surprise, the research shows who is it really a systemic problem for? Black women. We are the most likely people in America to be working more than one job in order to cover our minimum expenses. Nearly 10% of Black women hold multiple jobs. Okay. Let that sink in for a second. That's twice as much as Hispanic women. It's more, way more than men in general. It's more than women in general. And it's a problem. It's not okay. Now, on its face, like, of course, Black women, like, we are incredible. We can achieve anything we put our minds to. We can make magic happen. We can do what we need to do for our families, but at what cost? And is our suffering is the fact that we have to work so much harder just to make do? have we gotten too comfortable with that? And so I'm glad, Jen, that you gave me an opportunity to talk on this, because I don't think we should be comfortable with it. I don't think that we need to be taking for granted that Black women, like, we have an unlimited supply of energy and time to spend our lives in these ways, just working and working and working just to get by. Now, it's one thing if you've got a side hustle and you're doing that on the side and you're doing it to raise extra money and, reach some goals that you really want to reach, like to increase your investing and your saving, and that's fine. And honestly, I support anyone who wants to have a side hustle on top of their regular 9 to 5. I think that that creates financial resilience, especially if it helps you save and put more aside for a rainy day. But it also makes you less beholden to your one singular employer, so that if they were to let you go, which is unfortunately still happening and will continue to happen because capitalism, that you can take care of yourself, that you can support your family and get by. When you have that financial resilience because you have been stacking your coins and working on the side. However, we got to break our love affair with seeing Black women struggle. We have to break the love affair with seeing Black women struggle. People are way too comfortable with it, to the point where I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but when you're talking to someone for the first time, and like, let's say that they're a white man, when you're talking about your upbringing and they make assumptions about where you come from or what kind of upbringing you had, and they try to identify with you based on that. It's like, oh yeah, well, I grew up with a single mom and we were super poor, and like, yeah, we know. And it's just almost like, so do you think that's how I grew up just because I'm a Black woman? This isn't just about hustle culture. We're talking about systemic inequities that are demanding that we work harder and work harder for less pay, because even though we're working more jobs, we're still not getting paid equitably. And in fact, that's one of the biggest reasons why we have to work so many freaking jobs. Okay. So like, why aren't we raising wages for these professions that over index in hiring women of color, like undervalued professions like caregiving, home health care aides, retail work, restaurant work, work in the travel industry, hospitality industry? Let's stop devaluing those jobs just because you're more likely to see women of color working them. We need to increase workplace flexibility. So we need to have policies that make sense for paid family leave, for affordable childcare that can ease the burden of any woman out there who is juggling caregiving and can't make ends meet and can't figure out how to do it all at once. Like, let's actually have some flexibility in our workplaces. Let's give paid sick leave, paid family leave, all these benefits that would make it so much easier and take the pressure off of us to work these multiple jobs so that we can have flexibility. We all know these are issues. We all know that, like, I don't got to tell y'all that this is impacting us because we see it every day. Just like you, Jen, you see your friends working 2 to 4 jobs. I just want to acknowledge it. I wish it wasn't this way. And if there's, obviously at this point, like, it's a slim chance and where that the elected officials at the top are going to do anything about this right now. Certainly not when they're too busy dismantling DEI programs and chasing down immigrants and focusing on all the wrong things, in my opinion. They're not going to be dealing with this stuff. So, but at the same time, privately owned companies, y'all can still stand up. You can make sure that you're reviewing your compensation for any signs of gender, racial bias that could be impacting pay equity. We could be educating women about negotiating, how to understand their true market value. So that's my work that I do through Mandi Moneymakers, through, of course, Brown Ambition as well, through all my coaching. We got to help each other. We got to talk about the ways that we are making money, the ways that we are able to develop multiple income streams, but do it in a way where we are not sacrificing our sanity and our health in the process, and support one another, rely on our communities, make sure you're voting in your local elections. That has never been more important. Vote in your local elections, pay attention to what's happening at the local and state level, because these guys and women are going to be the unsung heroes, I think, to get us through the next 4 years. Because even though the federal policy does matter a great deal, there are certainly guardrails and social safety nets that can be put in place at the state and local level that can help if we hold our elected officials accountable for putting those safety nets in place. All right. So This is not this I know this, y'all are not statistics. Like, we are living this life, okay? We have to push for a world where we do not have to work so many damn jobs just to survive, okay? Jen, thank you so much for your question. Thanks for giving me a chance to speak on that. And I'm going to take the next question now, but maybe take a little break. All right, be right back, BA fam. All right, BA fam, I'm back with my next question. This comes from listener Budget Savvy and Stuck. Budget Savvy and Stuck says, how do I negotiate for more money in a nonprofit that does market analysis for set ranges for position levels? The only time people can negotiate is when they come into the company. I've been promoted once within the company and secured a $12,000 raise, but now I feel stuck again. I think I have a little more I could learn and would hate to leave too soon, but something got to give. I work in the Okay, anonymous note. I work in the HR department, so it's incredibly tricky to negotiate with the negotiators. Now, listen, I completely see what you're saying. I mean, I think this is an issue that also holds back a lot of like state and federal workers as well, because you have your set pay bands and there's like all this magic math that happens to determine like how soon you can move up a level and a grade and all those steps and stuff like that. However, you make a really important point. The only way you can negotiate for more money is when at the nonprofit you work for, you've noticed, is when people come into the company. So you may need to not necessarily leave the company, but you may need to be at risk of leaving the company. And by that, I mean getting a competing offer from another firm, another nonprofit, another organization, whatever it may be, and bringing that to them. Because I know, I mean, you're in HR, and it sounds like, honestly, it sounds like they put a lot of thought into their analysis for compensation. And I'm really not mad at that. And I know there's maybe a higher bar for you being one of them to try to negotiate. But at the end of the day, like if you're really good at your job and they're afraid to lose you and you come to them and you say, you're going to lose me because they're going to offer me 10K more, or they're going to give me a promotion of whatever title, they have an opportunity to step up and try to save you. And then you have a choice to make. I know that you say you don't want to leave too soon. You feel like you have more to learn. Then you got to weigh the pros and cons. Do you have to stick around to learn those lessons while feeling like you're underpaid? Or could you learn what you need to learn by going to another firm? We all have something that we're afraid of and that keeps us stuck, right? So really get real with yourself. What is it that I'm actually afraid of here? And then let's lay out what happens. Let's actually create a hypothetical reality where the worst case scenario happens. And then what will you do, budget savvy and stuck? Who are the 5 people that you're going to call up if it's not working out, and who are going to help you by sending you new opportunities? Can you go back to your current job? Does your team love you enough to be like, oh, okay, if that doesn't work out, come back here. We got room for you. Do you have great references? Like, do you have a great network that can support you? Is your experience really relevant in the marketplace? Are there many jobs out there that you'd be a good fit for? These are questions to remind yourself that I can afford to take a risk. Like, even if the worst case scenario were to happen, I trust that I got me, that I can pick myself back up. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone to make a leap or quit their job just because they get more pay. I think that you pointed out like a really good counter argument to just leaving in pursuit of higher pay or some bigger title is you want to think about the workplace culture. Like, if you really like your colleagues, if they give you a really great remote work policy, or they let you be flexible and phone in or work telecommute some days and come into the office other days, if you love the mission of the nonprofit you work for, if you really align with the values of the company, all that matters as well. Okay. So I also think, like, one thing I'll leave you with is, who's calling you stuck? Why do you feel stuck? Are you really stuck? And when I think about stuck, I think I'm desperate to do something different. I've been doing this for way too long. I'm not growing. I'm not really like using skills that are making an impact. And I see no other place to go. I don't have any contacts that could get me work anywhere else. I'm like really beating up against a brick wall here. They don't want to develop me. Like, my pay isn't going anywhere. What is it that's making you feel stuck? Because I don't know that I believe that you're genuinely stuck. I think that you might feel that you're stuck. And I just wonder if it's something that you can just start telling yourself a different story about why you are where you are right now. What if you were to flip the script and say, oh, no, I'm not stuck. I really like the work I'm doing. I love the culture here. I have respect with my colleagues. I know I have more to learn, and I'm sticking around because this is the kind of place I want to learn it from. And I know when a great opportunity comes along, I'm not going to be so foolish as to ignore that opportunity. And of course, I'll entertain any cool opportunity that comes my way. But it's going to take a lot to persuade me to leave this place because, yeah, I'd like to get paid more, of course, because I have financial goals that I want to reach. But I really enjoy the work here. And I know that there's more than just money at the end of the day. And that is also like I'm weighing that as well as getting paid more and getting that title that I want. So, no, I'm not stuck. I am strategically choosing to stay in place because this is the best option I have, because this is what I want for my career right now. And it's what makes sense for me. And it's it's the best I can do with the information I have right now. And if I get new information or new opportunities, then I'll weigh those as well. But yeah, I'm chill. I'm cool. I'm happy with where I'm at. Now, that's a different story you can tell yourself. And then once you start telling yourself that story, it becomes true. Isn't that crazy? It becomes true. And now you're not budget savvy and stuck. You are budget savvy and slaying. You're budget savvy and sailing. You're budget savvy and satisfied. Ooh, that's the one. Budget savvy and satisfied. Hell yeah. All right, Miss Budget Savvy and Satisfied. Thank you so much for your question. To BA fam, love y'all. Thank you a million times for the support. Make sure that you tell a friend to listen to the show. We're airing new episodes. The Brown Table is on Wednesdays. We're still doing BA Q&A on Fridays, sprinkling in some really cool guest interviews really whenever I damn well please. And when I think there's someone y'all got to hear from. Got some cool brown table guests coming up. And yeah, just can't thank y'all enough. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, we are on YouTube. Come find us there. You're not going to find this episode on YouTube because I don't have my camera on. Do you remember the part where I told you it's 10 o'clock at night? Well, now it's 10:40 p.m. And I still got to like edit this show really fast because that's how last minute it is. I can't even get the editor to edit it. I'm going to do it myself. But hey, going back to old school, early Brown Ambition days when I was doing the editing myself, it's totally fine. I can do it pretty quick. But thank y'all so much. Subscribe on YouTube, like, follow, leave a comment. Some of y'all will leave a comment on every platform, and I just want you to know I see it. I appreciate it so much. And we're so lucky to have such an incredible audience. And yeah, we'll see you next week at the Brown Table. And in the meantime, take care. Have a good weekend. Lean on each other, support each other, and we're going to get through this together. All right. Okay, BA fam. Bye.